Hi, hello, I'm Joan from Reading with Joan. Welcome to my channel. Kindly remember to like, comment, and subscribe to our channel today. We love reading with you and interacting with our kids. On our Wednesday time, we read, and on Saturday, we talk and we just talk about morals, talk about things that are related to our culture because we want kids to be culturally aware. We want kids to grow up to be very responsible and independent individuals. I hope you will join us Wednesday and Saturday. Remember, like, comment, and share our channel with your friends and family. We hope you enjoy reading with us today.
Creative kids, come join us, come. Reading with Joan, the place for all the fun. Have a great time, come join us, come. Reading with Joan, the place for all the fun. Creative kids, come join us, come. Reading with Joan, the place for all the fun. Creative.
Hello. Did you have a nice time with our last story about focusing on the temporary or the permanent? Today's story is another tale from Wisdom Tales from Around the World. I've learned a lot of wisdom from this book. If you want to find out all the wisdom tales we've been learning and all the values and all the lessons, go to our YouTube channel, click on each of the stories. There is always something to learn from it. Today's story is again from China, and the title of the story is The Powerful Fighting Cock. This is an animal story. Okay, so let's dig in.
The king wanted a prize-winning rooster to be more ferocious. He took the rooster to a trainer with a reputation of turning out champion fighting birds. "Just leave the bird with me," assured the trainer. "Come back in a week." A week later, the king returned and saw that his ruddy rooster was not crowing quite as loudly or stumply quite as menacingly. "Obviously," explained the trainer, "he's not ready yet. He's vain and confident. He picks fights with other birds. Come back next week." Another week passed, and the king returned and noticed that the prize rooster barely raised his neck feathers and wings to incite a fight. "As you see," said the trainer, "he's not ready yet. He still flaps up and gets an angry look when challenged by another bird. Come back in a month." A month passed, and the king returned to inspect his champion. To his alarm, the fierce rooster looked tamed. The king ranted and raved at the trainer. "You ruined my fine fighting bird. Look at him. He doesn't want to fight. He will never win a contest now." "That is not true," the trainer replied. "Notice how calm and secure he appears. He stands stern and strong today. The other fighting birds will take one look at him and all run away." Kids, did you learn anything from the story? I bet I did. What did you learn from it? I learned that strength doesn't always win the battle, and that is what the trainer was teaching the king. Because the king thought that it is when the rooster screams and shouts and beckons and flaps his feathers that will make him a strong fighter. But the trainer taught him a lesson. He says, calmness and security in yourself, the way you appear, makes you stern and stand strong. So when you're calm, you're secure in yourself, that is the first sign of victory. Anxious and boastful and preposterous people, they end up losing battles because they've not learned the power in battles. The power in any battle is calmness, secure in your appearance, stern and strong. Today, I learned something when I went out and we're teaching about confidence. That confidence does not come because you are just bold every time. Confidence comes in your ability to stand your ground when you face a situation. Kids, I want you to be like the rooster that has been tamed, that is quiet, that cannot flap his wings, not because it doesn't, but because he's secured in his ability to face anything. What a powerful lesson. I need to take this into me. Me. Joan, be calm, be secure, be confident, and be strong today because you can fight any battle. And I hope you take this lesson, and we'll see you next time on RWJ Storytime.
The place for all the
Chapter 3 Easy Money. Early that evening, Mboga strolled through the hospital. He stopped outside Jacobo's room. "May I come in?" he called. No answer. He turned the knob. The door was locked. Inside, a perspiring young man pushed a sizable radio under a pile of shit. As he threw a blanket over his half-packed suitcase, he shouted, "Wait a minute! Can't you?" When he opened the door, Mboga strolled in, gazed around, and asked, "What's happening? Why are you—" Jacobo pushed him back through the door. "What do you want? Can't you see I'm busy?" Mboga rolled his eyes. "Keep calm. I came to bring you news. The AC turned after you went off duty, and with him came police. It was exciting." They undid Doll's box and went through his clothes, but found nothing. "You should have seen that sergeant's face. He expected to find bags of money." "I don't care what they found," snapped Jacob. "Clear out." "Behold," grinned Mboga, "I diagnosed stomach trouble. What you need is white medicine for insides that rumble and heads that have no joy." The door slammed in his face and the lock clicked shut. Mboga walked away slowly and thoughtfully. Inside, Jacobo strode across the room, muttering angrily. He bumped into a pile of books. He tumbled about his feet. From one book slid a folded sheet of cardboard on which was written in large words, If sinners entice you, don't you consent." Jacobo picked up the cardboard, looked at his Bible, which was lying covered downwards on the floor, and pushed it under the bed with his foot. He read again what he had written months before. He had used to give it to a talk to the men in the room. He tore the cardboard into pieces and put them in his pocket, ignoring deliberately the odd feeling in his stomach as he finished packing. He groped in his pocket for the charm that he had bought for the medicine man a month before, and clutched it tightly in his hand with the keys that he had stolen. He waited till the hospital was quiet, then crept through his door. His plans went smoothly. There was no one to notice a darkly clad figure walking away carrying a suitcase in one hand and bulky parcel in the other, which contained, among other things, half the hospital's stock of pencils. Always keeping in the shadow, he chose a seldom-used path, which went steeply down. Gradually, the light of the hospital disappeared. He grunted with relief. Before anyone realized he had gone, he would be far away. In the darkness, he smiled with satisfaction. It really had been easy. Dalla was right. You only had to make your plans and... Hook thorns tore into his leg. He gasped, bent down to free himself, and dropped his torch. Again, thorns stabbed at him as he groped in the gloom. When he pressed the switch, no light came. He muttered in disgust. Now I must walk in darkness. Words from his memory flooded his head. Men prefer darkness to lights because their deeds are evil. Jacobo cursed his unusual ability to remember words. He limped on to the night. After a while, a really agreeable thought started to move again into his mind. He thought of those whom he owed money and grain. Walking on downhill, he stopped abruptly when he thought he heard footsteps behind him. Hardly daring to breathe, he stood absolutely still in deep shadow. Nothing happened. After a time, he moved on again. He had always wanted to travel. If some of the towns and villages were now close to him, he could go further afield. He could go to Nairobi or Dar es Salaam at the coast. There was a rustling in the undergrowth behind him. He dropped his suitcase and the box of pencils, picked up a large stone and held it above his head. His skin started to creep. The eerie laughter of a hyena sounded ominous at his back. Jacobo hurled the stone and there was silence. Picking up his suitcase of box again, he hurried on into the night. The path wound through tall, thorn-covered acacia trees. His load seemed heavier, but he dared not stop. The moon made shadows appear long and full of threats. The luminous dial of his watch told him it was an hour after midnight. He struggled on until he was too tired to go any further. He slammed down on a gnarled tree root, put his head on the penicillin box, and fell into a troubled sleep. Jacobo woke with a start. Two yellow eyes were coming at him through the grayness of dawn. With a mixture of anger and relief, they saw the headlights of a lorry moving down the road. He stood still and watched the countryside emerge rapidly out of the night. Not far away was the village of Magoli, a cluster of mud brick shops sheltered by umbrella trees. He had friends there, in particular Ayubu, a plump Pakistani shopkeeper. He went to the shop. After usual greetings, Ayubu said, "It is a matter of joy to see you, Bwana Jacobo. I and 3 others plan to visit the hospital for injection. Perhaps you can help us there. Have you medicines too?" Jacobo nodded. The Pakistani sat close and said in low tone, "It's not always easy at the hospital. You know the injections we want, but they listen to our chests, look down our throats, or take a drop of our blood. They say, 'Ah, yes, we have the treatment for you, but what we want is the injection that has great strength. Have you this one with you?'" Jacobo stifled a yawn and nodded again. "Good. It will be your profit to help us. Come." They walked to a room and the back of the shop. Dramatically, Ayubu took down a parcel wrapped in plastic. "This will delight your eyes. It is a bed, but folds up like a blanket. This is a valve. Blow through it and it fills up with air like a tire. Most comfortable and convenient. Only those who know their way about have this kind of thing." Jacobo unwound the air bed and inflated it. He lay on it and was amazed how comfortable he felt. Pushing the sanction floor pillow up and down with his thumb, he said, "I will accept this, but I will also need to rest here until later today." In the late morning, a bus pulled up. A smart-looking man in a red vest walked briskly into Ayubu's shop. "May I speak to Bwana Jacobo from the hospital? It is a matter of importance and urgency." The voice awoke Jacobo, who stumbled to his feet in alarm. The man with the red vest was at the door in a second. "Bwana Jacobo, well met. What a happy occasion! I am Winston Churchill Lugo. You remember me? You treated me when I was in hospital last year. I've heard your name. We'll work together admirably, I'm sure, for there is money in medicine." Jacobo smiled. "He speaks truly. See this modern type bed? It is mine for giving just 4 injections." Lugo murmured, "Oh no! You gave 4 injections, 4 men, and all you received in payment was that second-hand airbird? My unfortunate friend, nothing is more And that many shillings, rightly yours. Now rattle in the pocket of that rascal Iable. He sighed. You have more pencil in with you? His roving eye took in the large cardboard box and the suit. I see you have. Let us work together. 55th. The place to find real profit is not here under the hospital's nose, but at Mungo in the middle of the swamp, a village of real opportunity. How did you know where to find me? Demanded Jacobo. Simple. You leave the hospital rather suddenly, and by night. Now it's 14 kilometers to the main road, which can take you anywhere, and it's 30 kilometers over the hill to Mount. You, a man of intelligence, would choose the shorter. Lugu chuck. Small conversation with that unwise individual, Dola, and open ears to talk to the talk of the hospital. And then it was obvious. Now, to business. You get the injections. I find the patients and discuss the financial side. Lucas sprang to his feet, pushed Jacobo behind the curtain, and moved briskly to the door. From a safari-bodied car stepped a young man, dressed in Western fashion. He walked through the door to be met with a beaming smile. Good morning, Mr. Mpala. My name is Lugu. Will you join me in a cup of tea? I have little time. I am on my way to the hospital. Mr. Mpala attempted to push his way past. I have little time. I am Lugu chuckled. Then the news I heard is true? The man opposite him clenched his fist. Lugu stepped back and held up his hand. Peace. Let us think with calm minds. Jacobo listened with his mouth wide open. Then the blue-suited man muttered, Speak more softly. Lugu shrugged. Let me put you into the picture. This disease is no joke. It is dangerous. There are pills to treat it, but these cost money and work slowly. Also, quite frankly, I doubt their usefulness. Then there's the everyday injection for which the price is a goat. Do I have goats in my motor car? Lugu laughed. I want to give you special news. I can obtain and supply, here and now, an expert to give you the special medicine that those at the hospital reserve for themselves. It's expensive, but how much is this medicine? 30 shillings, exactly, replied Lugu. I'll give 15. Winston shook so Lugu is not in the habit of running auction shells. I'm doing you a great favor as it is. Behind the curtain, Jacobo listened. He thought, so this is the way it's done? Already, he had learned a great deal. Later, when he was putting away his syringe, Lugu handed him 3 5-shilling notes and smiled. Money for nothing, you agree? His voice changed. But remember, if you do not cooperate, my friend, Mr. Colongo, will be interested to hear your whereabouts. So watch your steps. Outside, the jeep skidded to a stop. Jacobo dived behind the high pile of bagged beans. In the entrance to the shop appeared a police sergeant with a document in his hand. In a deep voice, he announced, Winston Churchill Lugu, I am arresting you on the charge of fraud. Thank you for joining us today on Jungle Doctor in Slippery Places. We hope you'll join us next time to read the rest of the chapters. Bye!
Thank you so much for joining us today. We hope to see you next time on another story time with Joan. Reading with Joan.